What's up with all the hate on the Deathly Hallows Part 1? I didn't know this until recently when I was looking at a Reddit page where people were giving their Harry Potter rankings, and a lot of people really did not like this movie, and I don't get it.
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
Oh well.
I want to preface that I've never read the books, and if the movie just doesn't do the books justice, then fair enough.
Hard to argue with that logic.
Now, is it perfect? Well, no, it's not Lord of the Rings. But just as a movie, and comparing it to the rest, it's a really good addition. Yes, there can be some dumb plot holes that don't really make sense, and you just have to not think too hard about them, but that's in every Harry Potter movie, let's be honest. What I love about this movie is how it's able to be fun and eventful, while also letting the characters breathe, and giving the audience time to spend with them. This is the first really character-driven movie in the series, where choices they make and their character flaws are driving the plot. A lot of the other movies felt like people were telling them what to do, or stuff was just happening to them. But this movie really feels like the trio of Harry, Ron, and Hermione are in control, which I love. This movie also does a fantastic job with its tone and creating a dark, depressing atmosphere. Just in its first few scenes, you can tell that this is not like the other movies. The movie starts off with the minister giving a passionate speech about the threats they now face, and then transitions to a beautiful yet heartbreaking scene of Hermione erasing her parents' memories of her. Just a perfect introduction.
I was hooked.
We then get one of my favorite scenes of the movie, which is Voldemort and his followers having a meeting. Here, they have a former Hogwarts teacher on the brink of death floating above them. Yeah, pretty dark. This scene perfectly captures the evilness of Voldemort, but I also enjoy how it's the first time you really see how he treats his followers, how Lucius is spoken to, how Snape is seen, how Bellatrix's craziness is handled. The scene also makes Voldemort seem a little human. Yes, a messed up human, but human.
He's quirky.
We then get the death of Moody as they transport Harry to the Weasleys, again showing the threat Voldemort poses. And if you know me, you know I love a good death in a movie.
That's weird.
This leads to Ron's brother's wedding. Now you, and every viewer might be asking, why are they having a wedding during these tense times? And I appreciate that the characters are asking these questions too. But the reasoning kinda makes sense. They say it's nice to still have times of happiness and celebration during these times of fear. And to no surprise to anyone, they get attacked by Death Eaters during the wedding. But the trio apparates to London, escaping. I like how they apparated to a place where Hermione used to come as a kid. This happened again later in the movie, and it's just a nice touch to build Hermione's character and her relationship with her parents. Oh, and there was also an announcement saying that the Ministry has fallen and that the Minister of Magic is dead. Lovely. Now we fast forward a bit and come to a really fun sequence. The three use Polyjuice Potion to transform into workers to sneak into the Ministry of Magic. Here, they'll try to take a Horcrux, which is a locket that Dolores Umbridge has. Umbridge is such a great villain, and having her appear in this movie is just a bonus. You just hate her so much, and that's what makes her amazing.
I hate her.
So they end up getting to the Ministry, and obviously they get split apart. We need some tension. We soon realize Umbridge has the locket around her neck, and she has Ron's wife on trial. Well, not Ron's wife, but the man who he looks like's wife. This section of the wife thinking it's her husband she's talking to, but it's actually Ron, is so funny. It adds some humor to a fairly dark movie, but if you actually deep what's happening and the seriousness of the situation with the wife being on trial, this is a really messed up scenario for Ron to be in, which makes it even funnier. Anyways, they end up taking the locket, and Ron even gets a kiss by his fake wife. Now we get to the Lost section, where the group tries to figure out how to destroy the Horcrux, and tries to figure out where the next one is.
Where are we going?
No, I don't know.
I'm angry. Tell him I'm angry.
Ron also gets injured from apparating. I don't actually know how long it is in time-wise for them, but it's gotta be weeks, if not months. Here is where, as a viewer, we really get to see how the situation they find themselves in is affecting them emotionally, which is really cool. We get to spend time with them, as they struggle to figure this out, as they get annoyed by each other, as they get discouraged. We never really get to see them in this environment in the first 6 movies, so it's a nice change of pace. We also get to see how the Horcrux affects each of them emotionally. Whoever wears it around their neck starts to get increasingly annoyed and angry. I wonder where we've seen this before.
Precious!
But in this section of the movie is where the characters' personalities and flaws come out and play center stage. Ron is a jealous person, and as he sees Hermione and Harry spend more time together, he gets jealous. Harry is ambitious and wants to figure this out quickly, but can't because Ron's injured and isn't strong enough to travel. Here the characters come to a head and Ron decides to leave, but first makes Hermione choose between coming with him or staying with Harry, and she decides to stay. I love this scene because it's realistic and showcases Hermione's character perfectly. She's heartbroken to be away from Ron, but she isn't the person to leave their mission, especially if it involves saving basically the world as they know it. Now we get to a scene which I thought was fantastic, and which I didn't know was controversial.
Red alert!
But it's a scene where Harry and Hermione dance. Now before you get mad, remember the disclaimer, but I really enjoyed this scene.
I love it!
So obviously Hermione is devastated by Ron leaving. She's been crying and Harry notices this, so he decides to cheer her up by dancing with her. He turns up the radio, takes her hand, and they start dancing. Not romantically, just as friends would dance, and she enjoyed it for a bit. And then she slows down, and they dance a bit closer, and you can see her starting to reflect. They then stop, and she walks away still sad. I just thought this was a really good character moment where Harry sees his best friend in an awful mood and tries to cheer her up. Hermione forgets about their situation for a split second and starts to enjoy it. But in the end, she's still sad at what happened and misses Ron. I can maybe see how people can be mad at this, thinking that maybe the director tried to ship Harry and Hermione when they're both technically in other relationships, but I think that's a pretty long stretch. It just seems like a sweet moment where friends try to cheer up one another. We then go to Godric's Hollow, where we see the house Harry's parents passed away in, and just get to know more about his upbringing, which is nice, even though it gets a little creepy. Now we get to Ron's redemption. Well, sort of redemption. Harry sees a Patronus, which leads him to the Sword of Gryffindor. The only problem is, the sword's at the bottom of a freezing cold pond. So what does Harry do? Does he A. use any sort of magic to aid with the cold? B. Go get Hermione in their tent to make sure he doesn't drown? Or does he C. just jump in cause why not? I'm Harry Potter with crazy plot armor. I can't die. The movie's named after me. Well, if you chose C, then yes, you're right, he's an idiot. And to no surprise to anyone, he almost drowns. But to the rescue comes Ron, who drags Harry and the sword out of the pond. Ron then needs to destroy the Horcrux, but first faces his biggest fears, which are spiders and Harry hooking up with Hermione. Has he really gotten over it?
Oh, no, he didn't.
I think this sequence was really well done. We get the redemption of Ron destroying the Horcrux and saving Harry. It creates some tension, but let's be honest, no one thought Harry was going to drown in part 1 of the 7th Harry Potter. I like that Hermione didn't just forgive Ron when he came back. Like, bro, she's not happy to see you. I also appreciate that Ron explained how he found them. Like, there should be no chance Ron just finds them in a random forest in the middle of nowhere. I thought this would just be another Harry Potter moment, where we just have to go along with unrealistic holes in the plot. However, he did explain how he found them, which was nice. Now we move on to another fantastically done sequence. Like, this is what I'm saying, this movie's just banger after banger after banger. Here we have the trio going to Luna's to speak with her dad about the symbol they saw on his necklace at the wedding. This scene does a fantastic job at creating tension.
What tension? This tension?
The contrast from how he looks now compared to the wedding is drastic. Jurassic?
Wrong movie.
Is drastic. The house looks like a mess. He's vague when they ask where Luna is. Just full of red flags. And as a viewer, we can sense this.
I don't feel good about this. I don't feel good!
But we also know they need answers, so the tension of knowing they should get out of there while also wanting them to stay to figure out what the symbol is just keeps you on the edge of your seat. Anyways, he tells them it represents the Deathly Hallows.
It's the title of the movie.
Which comes from the tale of the 3 brothers. They've all heard the tale before, except for Harry, because, as Ron would put it,
your parents are dead! You have no family!
That was a bad joke. Anyways, we now see one of my favorite sequences in all 8 movies. As Hermione tells the tale, we see an animation visualizing it for us. Whoever thought to do this was a genius. It was beautifully crafted with a simplistic nature to it. It is genuinely the most creative thing I've seen visually throughout the whole series. This beautifully animated sequence, coupled with Emma Watson's fantastic voiceover, just demanded my attention. And it got it. So the tale states that the Deathly Hallows are 3 items. The Elder Wand, which is the most powerful wand ever crafted, the Resurrection Stone, which can resurrect someone from the dead, and the Invisibility Cloak, which can turn you invisible. With all of them, it can make you a master of death. Now I wonder who would want these things. Before I continue, I want to add a little side note here. Like I said before, this movie is not perfect. And what I'm about to say is not really a criticism of the movie, but as the whole of the Harry Potter story, per se. So the way I see it is the invisibility cloak Harry has is one of the Deathly Hallows, right? If so, am I supposed to believe that Harry was given one of the 3 Deathly Hallows when he was, what, 10? Like, who gives a child an item so important and sought after? I don't care if his dad left it for him.
Makes no sense.
Also, the movie ends with Voldemort taking the Elder Wand out of Dumbledore's coffin. Why are they leaving the most powerful wand ever created undefended at a gravesite that Voldemort was always gonna go try and find? Like, so dumb.
How could I be so stupid?
Anyways, Death Eaters end up coming as Luna's father told them Harry was at his house. He did this because they took Luna from him and he wants her back. The trio obviously escaped. Now to the climax, which you can guess.
It's really good.
Once they escape Luna's house, they operate to a forest where they immediately get caught by snatchers. Hermione casts a spell on Harry's face, which swells it, making him look a little different. They are then taken to the Malfoy Manor.
Yeah, cool name.
This whole manor scene is executed so well, and there are so many parts which I love. The first is when Draco is asked to confirm if it is really Harry Potter they found, and Draco doesn't give an answer. I love that his actions are left ambiguous. As a viewer, you look at that and ask, did Draco not say anything because he doesn't want Harry to be caught? Or does he genuinely not know?
Is he good?
We have the awful scene of Hermione being tortured by Bellatrix. We then cut to the prison and see Harry and Ron trying to figure out an escape plan while we hear Hermione screaming, further adding haste to their situation. Then finally, we have Dobby. Having him slowly unscrew the chandelier in the middle of this extremely tense scene where Hermione has a knife to her throat is so funny and a nice splash of comic relief. His speech at the end was beautiful and his death was sad, but so well done. Having him die in the hands of Harry while he says his last words about friendship.
It's enough to make a grown man cry.
I also love that Harry buries him and has a funeral. I heard in the books Dumbledore had a funeral, in the 6th one I think, but in the movie we've never seen Harry attend a funeral for a loved one he's lost, none for Sirius or Dumbledore. So this was a nice touch and shows how much Harry cared for Dobby. And yeah, then we have that cliffhanger with Voldemort getting the Elder Wand. So basically what I'm trying to say, but probably rambling at this point, is that this movie is just really well done. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. This movie is a part 1, but it feels like, just as a standalone movie, it's still fantastic. Sometimes there are part 1s, and they're not satisfying at all. You need to watch the second movie to fully appreciate the first. But this isn't like that. The movie was structured fairly well, the climax was awesome, it still left you on a bit of a cliffhanger, and I love the character moments in this movie. And that's why I think I'd put it top 3 Harry Potter movies.
That's right, you heard me.
So yeah, let me know if you agree with me in the comments below, or if you disagree with me. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed it, click subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.